Labor rights are fundamental principles that protect workers in their workplaces. These rights include fair wages, safe working conditions, and the freedom to organize. In today's globalized world, labor rights are not just a domestic issue, they are increasingly being addressed in international trade agreements. This video will explore how labor rights are integrated into these agreements, why they matter, and what impact they have on workers and economies around the world. Let's begin by understanding the basics of labor rights and their significance in the context of international trade. Labor rights refer to the legal and social entitlements of workers, such as the right to safe workplace, fair pay, and the ability to form or join unions. These rights are recognized by international organizations like the International Labor Organization (ILO). They serve as a foundation for social justice and economic development. Understanding these rights is essential for grasping why they are included in trade agreements and how they influence global commerce. International trade agreements are treaties between countries that set the rules for exchanging goods and services across borders. These agreements aim to reduce barriers like tariffs and quotas, making trade smoother and more predictable. In recent years, many trade agreements have started to include provisions related to labor rights, recognizing the importance of protecting workers as economies become more interconnected. Including labor rights in trade agreements helps ensure that economic growth does not come at the expense of workers. It creates a level playing field by preventing countries from gaining unfair advantages through poor labor standards. This approach also promotes social stability and sustainable development, making trade more beneficial for everyone involved. Poor labor standards are a set of basic rights recognized internationally, including the elimination of forced labor, child labor, discrimination, and the right to collective bargaining. These standards are often referenced in trade agreements to set a minimum benchmark for worker protection. By adhering to these standards, countries demonstrate their commitment to fair and ethical trade. International Labor Organization (ILO) plays a crucial role in setting and promoting labor standards worldwide. Many trade agreements reference ILO conventions as the basis for their labor provisions. The ILO also monitors compliance and offers technical assistance to help countries improve their labor laws and practices. Several major trade agreements include labor rights provisions. For example, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement (USMCA) and the European Union's trade deals often contain chapters dedicated to labor standards. These agreements require member countries to uphold certain labor rights and provide mechanisms for addressing violations. Trade agreements often include enforcement mechanisms to ensure that labor rights are respected. These can range from consultations and dispute resolution panels to sanctions for noncompliance. Effective enforcement is key to making labor provisions meaningful and ensuring that workers truly benefit from trade. When labor rights are protected in trade agreements, workers enjoy safer workplaces, better wages, and more opportunities to organize. These benefits contribute to higher living standards and greater social stability. Workers in both developed and developing countries can see improvements in their daily lives as a result. Despite their inclusion in trade agreements, labor rights can be difficult to enforce. Some countries may lack the resources or political will to fully implement these standards. There can also be disagreements over interpretation and application, making it challenging to achieve consistent results. The impact of labor rights provisions can vary between developed and developing countries. Developed countries often have stronger labor laws and enforcement, while developing countries may struggle with implementation. Trade agreements can help raise standards in developing countries, but they also need support and flexibility to meet these goals. Civil society organizations such as labor unions and NGOs play a vital role in monitoring and advocating for labor rights. They help hold governments and companies accountable, raise awareness, and provide support to workers. Their involvement strengthens the effectiveness of labor provisions in trade agreements. Many companies adopt corporate social responsibility (CSR) policies to go beyond legal requirements and promote fair labor practices. Trade agreements that include labor rights can encourage businesses to improve their standards, benefiting workers and enhancing their reputation in the global marketplace. Protecting labor rights can have positive economic impacts. Workers who are treated fairly are more productive and contribute to economic growth. At the same time, higher labor standards can increase costs for businesses, leading to debates about competitiveness. Balancing these factors is a key challenge for policymakers. Beyond economics, labor rights in trade agreements promote social justice and reduce inequality. They help ensure that the benefits of globalization are shared more broadly, supporting inclusive development and social cohesion. This makes trade not just a tool for growth but also for improving lives. Some critics argue that including labor rights in trade agreements can be used as a form of protectionism, making it harder for developing countries to compete. Others worry that enforcement may be inconsistent or influenced by political interests. These criticisms highlight the need for balanced and fair implementation. United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement (USMCA) is a recent example of a trade deal with strong labor provisions. It includes commitments to uphold labor rights and provides mechanisms for rapid response to violations. This case shows how modern trade agreements are evolving to prioritize worker protection. The European Union often includes labor rights chapters in its trade agreements. These chapters require partners to respect core labor standards and provide for cooperation on labor issues. The EU's approach emphasizes dialogue and capacity building, aiming for long-term improvements. Effective monitoring and transparent reporting are essential for ensuring that labor rights are respected in practice. Many trade agreements establish committees or require regular reports to track progress. These mechanisms help identify problems early and promote accountability. When labor rights are violated, trade agreements may provide for dispute settlement procedures. These can include consultations, panels, and even sanctions. The goal is to resolve issues constructively and ensure that commitments are upheld. Developing countries often need technical assistance to improve their labor standards. Trade agreements may include provisions for training, funding, and sharing best practices. This support helps countries meet their commitments and improve conditions for workers. Worker participation is crucial for effective labor rights enforcement. Trade agreements may encourage or require the involvement of workers and their representatives in monitoring and implementation. This ensures that policies reflect the realities of the workplace. Transparency is a key principle in modern trade agreements. Public access to information about labor rights commitments and enforcement actions builds trust and encourages compliance. Transparency also empowers civil society to play a more active role. Some trade agreements address labor mobility, allowing workers to move more freely between countries. While this can create new opportunities, it also requires careful management to protect rights and prevent exploitation. Labor mobility provisions must balance economic needs with worker protection. Gender equality is an important aspect of labor rights. Trade agreements may include provisions to promote equal opportunities for women and address gender-based discrimination. These measures help create more inclusive and fair workplaces. Eliminating child labor is a core goal of many trade agreements. Provisions often require countries to enforce minimum age laws and provide education for children. These efforts protect vulnerable populations and support long-term development. Trade agreements increasingly include measures to combat forced labor. These provisions require countries to prohibit and eliminate all forms of forced or compulsory labor. Strong enforcement helps protect human rights and maintain ethical supply chains. Freedom of association allows workers to form and join unions. Trade agreements often require countries to respect this right, which is essential for collective bargaining and protecting workers' interests. Strong unions can negotiate better conditions and wages. As globalization continues, the integration of labor rights into trade agreements will remain a critical issue. Policymakers, businesses, and civil society must work together to ensure that trade supports both economic growth and social progress. Ongoing dialogue and innovation will be key to addressing new challenges and opportunities. In summary, labor rights in international trade agreements play a vital role in shaping fair and sustainable globalization. By protecting workers and promoting higher standards, these provisions help ensure that trade benefits everyone. As the world economy evolves, continued commitment to labor rights will be essential for building a more just and prosperous future.